Master your destiny on 99 FM.
Welcome to the MYD Studios, George. We are delighted to have such a seasoned musician such as yourself come and share your wisdom and your learnings with us.
Thank you so much, Kirsty.
So we're going to talk, let's find out about your story and where you've come from. Share with us your journey that got you to where you are today.
My journey started, in the dusty streets of Kimberley, way back in South Africa and the Northern Cape. And after my schooling and my graduation at college, I moved to Joburg, where I joined the legendary Dr. Victor and the Rasta Rebels. And I stayed there with the band for 13 years. And I was signed up to a record company called Select Music, with a lot of the Afrikaans artists who are signed to that company. And in 2012, God spoke to my heart, and my wife, the kids, we moved to Namibia. My wife is Namibian, so it was an easy choice for us to move up here. And since then, George Lungane has become Namibian.
Lovely. We're so delighted to have you, Namibian,
Yes.
joining us. And you've been very involved in song nights since you've been here. What has happened to your musical career since you've moved to Namibia?
Well, in terms of when I moved up here, a lot of people didn't know who I was, except for the Afrikaans community who've seen me at big shows like Skouspel, Treffer na Treffer, Kakanka, Opskop, because I used to do a lot of these Afrikaans, what you call fears, which I'm still actively involved. Even though I'm staying in Namibia, I still fly to South Africa from time to time. I'm involved with SPA, the Women's Challenge, the 70,000 women that always runs the mile there in Centurion, Johannesburg, as well as. So it took quite a while, but I'm an artist who always believed in himself, and I believe that in due time it was just a matter of time and just getting the right connections. But I kept on working at it to advertise myself. I mean, me and my wife used to drive from Swakopmund to come to Windhoek looking for clients, and with my CV, and sometimes we used to come and do free shows here for people just to hear my voice.
It must have been a difficult journey. You've changed genres to move into Afrikaans music. You've also changed countries. How did you stay true to yourself through all of these changes?
Well, it's what is change without a bit of discomfort. I always say, if you want something, it's always important to get out of your comfort zone. If things are not working for you where you are, it's an indication that you need to move. We all don't like change, which is a human thing that we all are probably comfortable where we are. But I felt in South Africa, I was just in a pile of the top musicians that were there. There's 20 or 30 or 40 or over 100 musicians of my style. So, I also wanted to go where I can be recognized in terms as who is George Lungane, because Johannesburg is a big place. So clients can also pick and choose who they want, and at a time it's given where your career will start to suffer, because as a musician you also have to be working like anybody else. You need to earn a living, and if that doesn't happen, a lot of musicians give up and they start doing a 9-to-5 job, but your soul and your heart is not in it. Then you're working for a paycheck, and you've given up something that is true to your vein, which is music. The only thing I've been doing for the past 23 years is music. I've never worked in an office. I don't know what working in an office looks like. So this is something that I enjoy. This is something I always use the word. It's like a good disease for me. I'm addicted to music, but I'm also not. I've come to a point where I know my music is also a business for me. So it's not just when you're on stage or when you're recording. How you conduct yourself in the public sector and when you're in the open. A lot of people say, but aren't you the guy that performed at the president's this, or aren't you the guy that did this function? I said, I am, but you look so down to earth. I said, but how else am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be walking around with dark shades and people not knowing who I am? I'm human. I also go to a Vuruman or Pick and Pay to go stuff. Because at the end of the day, I'm also a father and a husband to a family, and I try to be George Lungani, nobody else.
Which is really beautiful that you've decided to stay true to yourself, because I think, especially in other parts of the world, people will get that sense of fame,
Yes.
and it goes to their head, and then they become arrogant, or
Yes.
what we call the divas of the industry, and etc. And I don't suppose they're doing much help for their career by behaving that way.
There's a saying I always use to when I try to speak to the up-and-coming musicians. Your talent, if it's not conducted in a good way, people will always, once it's all done for you, people will remember how difficult you were, not how talented you were. So for me, it's very important. For even, I never wanted to be famous, and it sounds like a cliche, but I never wanted to be famous, because when I started making music, I did it for loving music. It's only later when I discovered, so this can also be a business for me. So I treat it like that, but the number one priority for me is to stay humble, to stay hardworking, to stay focused, because for me, any gig, big or small, is as important as the guy that's paying me 40 grand. If somebody says, we need you for 2 hours, I can give you so much. My professionality doesn't waver, or I don't tone down and say, no, I'll come late, or I'll come with shorts, or I'll come not, it's like you're advertising your work, and people get the picture in their head is, wow, this would be great to have this musician at my function, dressed up in this way, looking so professional. So you already giving people a preview of the person you are off stage, which is very important.
Master Your Destiny on 99 FM.
Well, welcome to MYD, Ute. It's so delightful to have you back in studio to come share with us on getting to know yourself.
Thank you, Kirsty. It's always a pleasure to make time, and I enjoy this.
We love having you around. So let's start off with the first question being, how does one know who they are?
I think before I even delve into an adult knowing who they are, I should probably give you a little bit of background about a child development and the whole process of developing an identity, the whole process of getting to know yourself, and the influences that one's parents, caregivers, and all of these people have.
Absolutely.
Now, a well-known psychologist developed psychosocial stages of development, Erik Erikson, and these are very integral, and that we mustn't look past these very basic things. So now the first stage that Erikson developed, or talks about, is trust versus mistrust. This is the years when the infant is just born, the first year of their life. This infant needs to know that there's people around that will always take care of it. People that will make it feel safe, make it feel secured, and take care of its needs. If this caregiving is always available, the infant will learn that the world is a safe place and that can be trusted. If a child is neglected during this year, the child will become fearful, the child will know that there's no trust, and this child will later on develop mistrust and have problems and difficulties in their relationships. So very basic. So when this child is able to go through this stage, knowing that the world is safe, they will develop hope. They will have hope for the future. They will know that things will be fine.
Okay, so it's knowing yourself is a process of self-examination.
Exploration, yes.
Okay. Why is the question, you've mentioned it now, who am I, such a universal question? Is it because we're all required to examine?
I think it's a universal question because you are with yourself all the time. And if at the early stages you did not develop a sense of identity, knowing where you are going, you will easily be led astray. Okay. If you are not confident in who you are, where you are going, anybody can come and influence you. Anybody can come and tell you, let's do this. If you don't know that I don't want to smoke, because smoking is bad for my lungs, and you will not be able to say no. Because the minute somebody says, oh, you are not cool, I can't believe that you don't want to have sex with me in this bathroom, you are going to do it, because then you are insecure, you've not developed a sense of identity, you haven't mastered anything, so you will say that, okay, fine, let me do this because I want to please this person. So it's important to know who I am. And in this day and age, I think that, earlier on, many years ago, our communities were smaller. The people that were influencing us were a lot fewer. The media that we were exposed to, the influences from outside, were much less. So you were able to stick to, okay, no, I was born on the farm, I am a whatever 35-year-old Afrikaner woman, and this is what Afrikaner women do. So you were easily able to fit into that. Now you were born, you are 6 years old, you've got access to the internet, and you get influenced by what the Kardashian family is doing, what who is doing. You can type in anything on a site. So the influences are so many and overwhelming. And that affects our identity, because it's not just our parents that are now influencing us. It's not just the small group of 25 children that you go to school with, but everywhere else. The music, this and that, the influences are, and that makes it more and more difficult for people to stick to who they are, because that means you have to be stronger, basically. Exactly.
So any other closing words on knowing yourself and growing to be the true you?
You've never arrived. You've never grown enough. As long as you're still breathing, there's going to be a tomorrow. Until your lights are out and you have stopped breathing and you are dead, there's always room for improvement. But while you are improving, you should accept yourself and you should love yourself. It's okay. If you take anything from all of this, look at yourself in the mirror and say, it's okay to be me. I'm amazing. Anybody who gets to spend 5 minutes with me in a day is lucky, because I am amazing. That doesn't mean I don't have flaws, I don't have issues, but I love myself. Even your mother doesn't have to love you. Nobody needs to love you. If you love yourself, it's okay.
Fantastic. Ute, it's been so insightful. You've given us some fantastic food for thought in getting to know yourself, that self-evaluation and self-examination, so that you can be true to yourself and really shine your light, because there's never going to be another one like you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming to share with us.
It was a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure to have you in the studio. Fantastic. Thank you.
Master your destiny on 99 FM.